Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to TST Entrepreneurship Bootcamp. This is Dr. Yasir Amjad. I have more than 17 years of experience in entrepreneurship, academia, startups, entrepreneurial ecosystem building, and so many things like that. So I have mentored more than 250 startups across the world. I am CEO and founder of Solutioners, which is a business incubation management company. And we do provide consultancies to incubators, accelerators, family offices, venture firms, and different innovation hubs for their boot camps and entrepreneurial curriculum. So, what are we going to achieve from this boot camp? This is a path to get your product market fit. Now, what is a product market fit? Let's explore it on the screen. So, your path to product market fit is basically from finding your first international customer to scaling globally. So, this bootcamp will help you out with live case studies of successful startups, hands on exercises with real market data, valid business model development, and one-on-one mentorship with you. So the learning outcomes for you and for all other startups in this bootcamp will be, for early stage startups, they will be learning how to find their first international customer using structured product market fit validation. Whereas the scaling startups, they will be able to develop strategies for expanding globally or entering new markets with the back to zero approach. And all of them will be able to build a strong value proposition while minimizing their market entry risks, especially in the international markets. So, what is product market fit? It revolves around four things: what to sell, where to sell, whom to sell, and how to sell. Let's have a look. What do we mean by all of these things? When we talk about what to sell, it's all about value proposition and core offerings to your customers. Whom to sell to, it includes your customer segments and your target market. We will be discussing in larger detail how to define those customer segments and how to define the exact target market. Then, where to sell, it includes the geography and market segmentation. Whether you are trying to sell within US or Pakistan or Europe or the Middle East, each geography has its own constraints and channels and strategies. You cannot apply the single strategy all over the geographies. How to sell includes the channels and revenue models. It includes the definition of all the marketing strategies you are going to apply. So the PMF eventually ensures that real market demands, data, and customer validation back the answers to all these questions. So we are going to integrate the business model canvas with the product market fit components. How are we going to do that? Let's have a look. You see on the screen, there is a business model canvas in which you define your customer segments, your customer relationships, the channels, value propositions, key activities, key resources, key partners, the cost structure, and revenue structure. So all of these 9 components integrate with the product market fit, where you evaluate each type of customer segment, your relationship with it, how you are going to channelize with it, how are you going to make a value proposition for the same customer, and what type of key activities you will be executing for him, or what type of key resources you will be applying or delegating for that particular customer, what type of key partnerships you are going to develop, what type of cost you will be facing, and how much revenue you are expected to extract from that particular customer segment. So, what happens? For each type of specific customer segment, we have an independent business model canvas. For other types of customer segments, we will have to develop other business model canvases. Why is it so? Because with each customer segment, the nature of activities, the nature of channels, the strategies, the partnerships, the cost, the revenue streams may vary. So in that case, we will be preparing different business model canvases under the same business, but in a different way for different customer segments. So let's talk about the very first component of product market fit, which is what to sell. Let's have a look at the screen. We will have to define our offering. So we first define what is our core product or service that solves customers' problems. So this question actually validates if customers genuinely need our solutions and are they willing to pay us for this particular product or service or not. So the checkpoint is, have customers proactively requested our solution or we are just pushing it into the market? Once we define that what we are going to sell into the market, we will be proceeding with the next thing, which is whom to sell to. In this particular area, we define our ideal customer profile. Now that is based on number of constraints. It may include their psychography, their demography, their geography, their industries, their behavioral traits, and their buying behavior, and so many other things. There are almost 25 or 30 data points what we have to evaluate while defining our ideal customer profile. So the important checkpoint in this segment is, if you can't clearly identify a group of customers experiencing the same problem, the product market fit is quite weak. The next thing is where to sell it. It's all about geographic and market segmentation, in which we actually identify the high demand markets using secondary research tools. It also involves assessing the market size, industry trends, and competitors in each region. And then we will have to determine if our solution requires localization, compliance, or specific modifications for different markets. It could be a local market as well as an international market. It all depends in which market we are going to follow the customer and what are their ICP traits. That's what we just discussed before. Then it comes to how to sell. It's all about go-to-market strategies, which we call GTM, in which we discuss channels. We identify the most effective channels for reaching our customers, what type of revenue we are going to generate out of these channels and customers. For instance, we will be testing different pricing models based on competitor benchmarking. And then we are going to calculate the cost, including customer acquisition cost. So the question arises why this approach matters. Because it helps founders identify weaknesses in their business models before scaling. And then it ensures alignment between customer needs, revenue models, and distribution strategy. And then it also helps in reducing risk of failure by focusing on market validation first before applying a heavy investment. So this PMF, product market fit, is the bridge between ideation and scalability. And without it, startups may burn cash with no real traction. So this approach actually ensures how you test, validate, and optimize your business for a sustainable growth. So we will be discussing all these points throughout the bootcamp. So see you in the next sessions. Thank you.